Thank you for coming. I am Mark Wasserman, together with my big brother Craig. We are known as the Pot Brothers at Law.
Thank you
very much. We are California attorneys handling all aspects of cannabis business licensing and regulations, as well as all areas of criminal defense. Most importantly, we teach people 25 simple words known as the script, and to shut the fuck up when cops ask questions. We have copyrighted and trademarked the script for legal services, and we are now ready to start the show by letting me know what you're smoking on. But don't strain yourself telling me the strain.
Wait, hold on.
Do you even know?
While you're looking, I got to switch. I got to switch joints.
Well, switch your joints.
Where's the ashtray? I need an ashtray.
I will tell you, I'm smoking on from Be More Blunts. It's a Tangy Gelato. It's got 28% THC. It's got about 346 grams. They handed it to me about 20 minutes ago. That's about an eighth that is stuffed in here, and I've been smoking it since then. Well, I had to save, so I had enough.
See, it's childproof, look.
Right? And so I am smoking on this for the first time, and it's wrapped in hemp. Very smooth. It's burning really nice. It'll make a nice ash. You ass.
It's childproof. This is proof that I did not grow up, and I will not grow up. But no, I'm serious. This is pretty funny. Some of these you just can't get right. Come on, there we go.
Are you going to get to it? Do you need me to open it?
Yeah, you open it.
Do you need your little brother to open it for you? You got to say something while we're...
Come on, open that sucker. Oh, I got it started. Okay, now.
I bet you need me to light it too.
No, I need you to read what it is.
Okay, you light your own. I'll tell you, my big brother is smoking on an infused. Oh, this is infused. You're dead. It is skunkberry premium cannabis mojito sauce. Again, Be More. Now, wait, hold on. Oh, see, he ripped off the part that said all the good stuff about the THC. It was right on the cap of mine. And this is infused with shaman.
I gotta tell you, though, I'm
with shaman.
I'm not a big blunt person.
Wrapped in hemp. It's not tobacco.
But it's still, it tastes like a blunt, and it's really good.
Now, you don't just have to say that. They just handed it to us.
I won't. People got to know me that I won't say, if I don't like it, you're going to tell, and I'm going to say it. I'm not going to fuck around.
Be forewarned, if you give us one of these before we get on, my brother will say whatever he wants. You have anything else to say about that?
It is really good. It's really smooth, and I'm going to keep smoking it.
All right, well, let's get into some hot takes. And today I got some what I'm going to call hot mail. And we get messages from all across the globe from so many different types of people. And I decided I wanted to share at least one of them. And it's from a law enforcement officer. I enjoy and his name is Kyle. That's all I'm going to tell you about him.
We get a lot of these, too.
I enjoy your TikTok videos. I recently reached out to you after seeing one of your videos, the script. I particularly liked the shut the fuck up portion. I am former law enforcement. I spent 15 years doing detention, parole, patrol, narcotics, street gangs, organized crime. My forte was organized crime and had heavy training in interview and interrogation techniques. These tactics are used from the side of the road during a traffic stop all the way to interviews conducted to major crimes such as homicide in an interview room at headquarters. Now that I am out of the game, I get to enjoy civilian life. Not that it does not have its struggles to adjust to. When you worked in high crime and high pace area that I did, it left you with PTSD, which can contribute to some very horrible decisions during traffic stop encounters. I thought that was just an amazing little piece that these officers, some of them that we're dealing with, they've done other things for years and years and years, and now they're doing these traffic stops. And that was the point of that. He finishes, I'm just a 37-year-old former, in quotes, damn good law enforcement officer who loves the Constitution of the United States and decided to completely start over. And so those types of messages and letters we get a lot across the country, across the globe, from law enforcement, not working and not working, is incredible. So it's nice to know that there are guys out there who are working towards a better end when we're dealing with law enforcement.
I mean, even though we're all about shut the fuck up when cops ask questions, it's still about being polite, and it's not being rude, and it's about asserting your rights civilly, and it's not about hating the cops. We hate the bad cops. Everybody should hate the bad cops, but in general, we're really not about that, hating law enforcement. I mean, it's a tough job. I wouldn't want to do it. They're underpaid. I mean, it's fucked, and there's a bad. The culture has to change, and that's what I've always said about it. The culture itself. These kids go in young, and they are taught a certain way, and they need to be taught, hey, when you pull someone over for a traffic stop, it's not about looking in their car to see if you can find any goddamn thing on earth you can get them for. It's, hey, your light's out. That blinker could kill somebody. If you don't have that blinker on and they don't see you turning, go get your blinker fixed. Have a nice day.
It's us versus them. That's what they're taught, right? That's the culture.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But there's a lot out there that, they respect you when you give them your rights, and they appreciate it. We get a lot of them are like, yeah, it makes my job easier. I don't got to deal with this person for an hour. And
they know. They know the next person coming along is just going to talk and talk, like I sometimes do, but I'll stop because well, hold on. You weren't ready with your joints. Are you ready for hot take number 2?
I'm ready.
I mean, you put something on the paper, but that's a lot. There's a lot of stuff here.
I'm ready because this ties into our guest in a sense, because this is ripped from the headlines. Oklahoma prosecutors targeting pregnant women for using medical marijuana. At least 26 women charged with felony child neglect in Oklahoma since 2019 for using marijuana during their pregnancies, this investigation found. The fucking crime can carry up to a life in prison in Oklahoma, though most of them pleaded guilty and received probation. But it's still, you're going potentially, it's a case.
Well, it's on your record, right?
It's absolutely ridiculous. That they're going after them in Oklahoma like that. In Oklahoma, pregnant women have been prosecuted after filling prescriptions for medications their doctors gave them. There's a couple prosecutors that it is, oh my God, if people can't get out to vote, or if that's really how your state is, I'm really, this is ridiculous. But listen to this statement. This is from a Brian Hermanson, one of 2 prosecutors in the state who's brought charges against pregnant women, and he obviously didn't respond to comment on this article. But in the past, he said that warnings on Oklahoma medical marijuana licenses justify cases against mothers. Now, this is a quote. Get ready. I mean, this is more disgusting than anything I could think of for this guy to say this. And this ties in with our guest, actually. Quote, if they make bad decisions about using drugs while they're pregnant, they're probably going to make other bad decisions when raising the child. So because someone's using cannabis, they're going to be a bad parent. Because this guy must think this is the devil lettuce and the devil weed and all that shit. But it's just absolutely ridiculous. And it's funny, too, because I had read about this before, and I did some research on it, because we get hit up by people all the time asking, I'm pregnant, should I take cannabis?
Should I move?
Talk to your doctor. I mean, I'm not an expert. Don't ask us. But there's this a sickness called hyperemesis gravidarum.
That was good.
It's when somebody can actually, it's when the woman has the morning sickness, like to the point where it could kill her. They can't keep anything down. They're throwing up, and there's nothing. They literally can die from this, and people have died. Women have died from this. And they found that cannabis is one of the only things that help a mother through this problem to where they can eat and hold down food. I mean, so there's a medical science that I've read about. I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me on this. Go research it yourself.
Your brother's a doctor. Go talk to him.
I'm not going to ask him either. But it's ridiculous that something as simple as cannabis, a mother who chooses to ingest cannabis while they're pregnant, I mean, it can't kill you while you're alive. How's it going to kill you while you're in the womb? I mean,
or do anything to your kid.
I'm not a doctor, but that's my layman opinion that everybody should be able to do what they want with their body, especially a woman. And we won't get into that other issue, but.
Well, we're talking about cannabis at the end of the day. We're talking about using cannabis, something that's natural. And
Really, it all goes to the same. It really is the same discussion. People should be able to do what they want. Period. You know, and if it's unfortunately using hard drugs, then they should, you know, go do it somewhere that's not going to interfere with me. If that's what someone wants to do. I mean, it's freedom of whatever you want to do. If you want to do something stupid, then
you should be able to have a conversation.
Called Darwinism, I guess.
Well, have a conversation between you and your doctor without a doctor going, I can't do this, I can't do that. Just between, then everybody else should stay out between you and your doctor what you want to do. And I think our guests might have something to say about that. Let me tell you a little about our guests. Their Twitter and IG bio reads, cannabis educators, parents, veterans, all. They educate everybody. Veteran and Latina-owned, parents of 2 boys. They are known as the Pothead Parents. It's Trade Mile Style Life, brand, podcast, and resource created by Derek and Missy Fogarty, focused on creating a socially safe space for anyone interested in learning more about cannabis and safe consumption. They are a husband and wife team. They have faced many challenges, but cannabis has helped them find their way through. They aren't just cannabis-based. They touch on everything from parenting, marriage, struggles, growth, emphasis on health and mental health and wellness, parents and veterans to forward businesses and consumers. They want to reach everybody. Please welcome the Pothead Parents, all the way from Las Vegas. Yep. Careful coming up.
Thank you for coming.
All right.
And I think one of the great things that they're doing is something that's near and dear to our hearts. I mean, is breaking the stigma, and that's really how one of the reasons we even started doing what we do on social media was, hey, look, we're attorneys, we have ongoing businesses, ongoing cases, ongoing practice, and we can consume cannabis. And it's...
Well, let's look at the dictionary definition of pothead, which, do you know the dictionary definition of pothead?
It says Mark.
No. Come on, because I don't look like a pothead. Do I? In the audience? Do I? Look, no, they're shaking no, they're saying no. I don't look like a pothead. But in the dictionary, if you look it up, pothead is a person who smokes cannabis, especially habitually.
Shit, we're all potheads.
That's what it says. But
It doesn't say you have to be stupid.
That's what people think when they hear the word pothead. So getting to point about breaking the stigma of potheads and the use of the word stoner and things like that. Like my brother would say a lot in the beginning when we were out there, it's not just Spicoli. I don't know, people are too young maybe for that reference, but you guys come out with the Pothead Parents. You must have some kind of opinion on the stigma that we have to deal with. Oh, you got to push the button. That's a good team.
There you go.
Good to go.
When I decided to go with Pothead Parent, it was because I want people who are automatically going to think that we're lazy potheads or, you know, those that just sit and smoke and do nothing more than, I don't know, get high.
Well, you have kids.
That's the stigma. I mean, it's funny.
Exactly.
I started riding in a motorcycle group, and one of the ladies didn't smoke, and her brother was a fucking pothead, stoner, lazy fuck, right? And she'd always see me. I'd go off in the distance, and I was respectful and smoked, did my thing, and she knew what I did, and I'm successful. And one day we had a conversation, and she said, yeah, my brother's a stoner, no good, doesn't do anything. And I said, you know what?
Said he was a loser.
Yeah, he was a loser.
I remember the story.
He was
I've
a
heard
loser,
it.
that's right. And I said, no, he's not a loser because he smokes weed. He's a loser because he's a loser, and he happens to smoke weed.
No.
The weed didn't make him the loser. You're a loser, period. Now, you happen to smoke
Exactly.
weed, do other drugs, drink alcohol, whatever, but you're a loser, and weed doesn't make you that loser.
Exactly. On the parent end of things, there's shitty parents, and then there's good parents. I mean, it can go for everything and anything. So how is it that we can just or continue to stick with the stigma of pothead being something so negative?
It's okay to have your.
It's
It's okay to have your
Wine
martini at
and
night.
vodka and all the other.
Xanax and
Right.
Valium and all that.
Yep.
We could go on. We could go on to another show for that. How old are your two sons?
They're 2.5 and 1.5.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
they just started.
Wow.
Busy couple of years.
Okay, well,
All
hold on.
planned.
You
That-
need lots of weed.
Well,
lot of weed.
begs to ask because of what my brother was talking about in the beginning of our show about pregnant women and using cannabis. So,
Yes.
did you use cannabis during your pregnancy?
No.
Was that what kind of was there any decision or thought that went into that? Or let me ask you this: did you use anything?
Yeah.
Tell us.
I mean, to the point of, I guess I would be around when he would smoke, but I guess that would be to the point of
but you never
using
smoked
cannabis,
or-
but I never smoked. So it's all about like what people are gonna take of it, because even secondhand, I don't know. In here, it is smoky.
What do you use? Now, here's a question that I'm assuming I know the answer,
Yeah.
but begs to ask: do you use cannabis in front of your kids?
Absolutely.
Now,
Not sitting here like this, ripping a bomb.
I'm not
but
right.
So, but-
I'm not
but-
sitting
but
and
for
blowing
peop-
the smoke in his.
for
in their
people who are
faces.
going to assume that, the people out there who don't understand the culture and what we do as parents, when we say do you use cannabis in front of your kids, what do you mean? Explain what that means to you.
So, like, perfect example. So, I grew up with my grandfather and my grandmother, my nana and papa smoking cigarettes, which I'm sure
in the house.
80% of the
Cigars.
food did. I used to think I used to get paid like a nickel or a penny to go pick them up in the driveway, like in the backyard. So, I kind of use that mentality of like, if I'm going to smoke a joint in the backyard, I'm a joint guy, like we were talking about earlier. And my kids see me, the door's locked, there's, a glass door, and Dad's out smoking. I'm doing my thing, leave me alone. I'm not sitting there smoking like this, blowing in their face, but it's me
Yeah,
time.
you
I'm
got to
taking
watch
my
out for those
medicine
sound
and-
bites.
Oh, yeah. But, it's me. I'm out there doing my thing, taking my medicine, and, they're at the age now where they're, starting to grab stuff, and it's real important to keep it.
You keep it locked
just-
away
just
like
like anything
alcohol and
else.
prescription meds.
Exactly.
It's
We have it
that's
in a
the law.
cabinet,
Anything
locked
else.
up. It's in container. Those childproof locks, by the way,
Well,
well,
you-
getting those off while you're
So,
high.
I mean, I just thought you could
Yeah, those
open
things
the
are
blunt.
horrible. They work. That's for damn sure.
No,
That's tough.
I think it helped me with 4 kids, medicating every day.
Oh, absolutely.
All day.
I wouldn't be
And
able
it
to do it
never
without it.
took away from one bit of parenting.
I've got
No, it
3.
actually
Well,
makes
he's
parenting
done
better.
though.
Because that's the problem. People just have that. They still have that stigma of smoking a joint, and getting high, and laying there. I don't care what
There's
happens.
so many different-
just eating and
Yeah,
shoveling
no, that does
food in
happen,
your
but
face.
that's after the kids go to bed. So
Right.
that's
Well, you
when-
know where
that's
that-
when I do the dab.
yeah, that's when dabs kick in.
The
yeah.
biggest problem that helps push that along is media, is film and television. When we're watching sitcoms and this and that, whenever you could sit there drinking their thing at lunch or dinner, whatever, like nothing.
Yeah.
But someone's using cannabis or got an edible or a gummy or something.
My big thing,
they're wigging
cigarettes.
out.
Like New York City, we're in Vegas right now. We just moved from New York to Vegas, but I mean, everybody smokes cigarettes. You smoke in the casinos, and you're outside smoking a joint. People are looking at you. It's like, get the fuck away! Like,
But now you
guys
can
literally
smoke.
giving
But
yourself
now,
cancer
but I
right
did
now.
smoke
Like,
in
get away
Times
from
Square.
me.
You
Yeah,
did?
I did
That is
smoke
great.
weed in Times Square
Yeah,
recently.
in New York, you can smoke it wherever you can smoke
Anywhere you
cigarettes.
smoke it.
Right.
Yep,
You can
they got
smoke
that
wherever.
right.
Can't
And
do
I
that here.
And
Yeah,
I
we
do
do.
want to say we are from Buffalo, New York, so we are
not the
further-
city, we're
You're,
right.
West
We are
Buffalo.
You're way
not
up
New
there.
York City as much as
We're
everybody.
almost Canada, pretty much.
Yeah, no, we visited. Where'd
We were in
visit?
New York City.
No, we
What?
visited upstate.
Oh, Rochester.
Rochester.
We were in
It's like an hour
Rochester.
from
We were
where
up
we
on a
went there last
reservation. up there.
420.
Yeah, it's
When
about
do
an
you
hour.
think or have you thought about when you would let your kids use cannabis
Actually,
if
just-
they wanted to?
We just talked about
We just
this.
talked about this not too long ago. So, I mean, I'm early 30s, so is she. When I started smoking weed, it was, in high school, late middle school, which is probably for a majority of us in here. But, I mean, when they get to that point, I'm not letting them smoke till, they're old enough and they're supposed to be. Now, if he has a medical issue or a condition where it
Totally different.
warrants, him doing that, that's completely different. But for him to sit here and crack a joint with me, that's not going to happen. And is he gonna, are they going to smoke?
24?
Yeah, they're
No,
going
I'm
to smoke.
kidding.
I'm not stupid.
I'm
but
kidding.
You know what I mean? But
Well, my brother cracked a joint with his kid When he was how old was he?
But that was his choice.
It was probably.
Yeah, no,
okay,
it's
yes.
absolutely. Well,
Oh yeah.
It was more like
this was years.
14,
This is
maybe?
20 years ago at least.
Just probably smoking then anyway.
It was no, not
Exactly.
yet. No, he actually hadn't yet.
He was
It
young.
was having some issues. There was a horrible divorce going on, and blah blah blah. And I thought it was better than any kind of medication they wanted to give.
They
Absolutely.
wanted to give him pills, right? They went to the doctor and they wanted to give him pills and shit.
Yeah, so
That's all they do.
There's so many different forms, though. That's the difference. It's you
right,
can-
especially nowadays. Back then there was
Absolutely.
weed and
Absolutely.
homemade brownies.
Right.
Now you have tinctures and edibles and
Creams.
You can
Right.
dose it right.
Exactly. I mean, even with children, you can give them CBD. You're getting into that point of, marijuana, cannabis, everything and anything that we want to call it. There's so many different forms of it that can be consumed, and there's different ways to consume it. So
Without
it's-
getting high too.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly. So knowing that is what we are trying to do is, be the parents to people who aren't knowledgeable of this, to lose the stigma of it, and to be able to prove and show that we can be awesome parents and potheads too.
Probably better parents. I've heard a lot
Honestly,
of. I
yeah.
won't mention names, but I've heard a lot of parents say they were much better parents on cannabis than they were maybe if they had been drinking.
I've never
Alcohol
heard
or
of
the pills.
someone getting beat to a well, I mean, it's just a whole different world of when you drink, and alcoholism is an issue, and it's
Horrible.
Exactly, and I mean, we've all have been going through some crazy fucking shit in the last couple years. Sorry, I know.
Oh, you couldn't said that any better.
It was good for me. The bars closed down. Right when I stopped
Right.
drinking.
True. I mean, but that's the thing. People either turned right to alcohol to be able to get.
You could order
over
it home, right? Or whatever. They were delivering it
You
to
can
you.
now.
Yeah, they were
Now.
doing that in
No,
New
back
York too.
then.
Yeah, it was so easy that now it's like the revolution of cannabis is on the forefront, and people need to understand and learn how to consume it so that they don't have a shitty time the first fucking time and then just automatically be like, oh, okay, I had the worst fucking time ever. I mean, it's
No,
a fucking
true.
hot mess
It's true. I
joke
mean,
when
we-
they try to explain
We
it.
do a lot of shows. We've done shows over the past,
Sorry.
and all I can and our big thing is with edibles because I'm not a big edible fan.
I love edibles.
I love edibles.
Thank God
I feel
I smoked for what 35 years, 30 fucking years,
45.
and I did an edible. And my son said, this is like 10 years ago, when they first started doing chocolate bars. It was a Bang bar, and it was like a triple X. Dad, just do a quarter of it. No, I'm gonna take half of it because I've been doing this forever. Homemade brownies were the thing, right? You could eat
Yeah.
5 of those. They didn't
Yeah.
do shit.
They were not-
So I ate half of it and didn't do anything. And it's half hour, I did the other half, and I crawled to bed and thought I was gonna die. I literally laid in bed, thought I was gonna die, going, okay, I know no one's ever died from weed. This is gonna pass, and I will never, ever do this again. And it actually took me years to learn how to dose correctly, and you dose, and
what
if
did
it
you
doesn't
feel?
work,
You cannot dose down once
What
you
did
start.
you actually feel? Because this is something we were talking about.
I've done it twice, actually. I did it once with an indica, and I thought, my heart, I just thought I was gonna die.
okay.
I thought it was
That was the
weird.
sativa.
It was weird. No,
That's
that
gotta be a
was
sativa.
no,
That was the indica?
That was the indica.
It didn't knock you out?
No. I was kind of half knocked out,
think
but
I
I
know
thought
this
my
one.
heart was going to explode. But the worst one was a sativa. It was at an event where we ate all this food, and I was starving. They were late, and I ate mine and my wife's. And before I knew it, I'm laying in bed, and my eyes are going like 1,000 miles an hour,
Done.
and my mind is racing like a motherfucker. And
Yo,
so,
with the thoughts of whatever you were going through at that moment, though, this shit makes you think.
but I didn't need to think that much. So anyways, but the bottom line is, you're absolutely right. It's educating, and
Yeah.
you can dose up, but you can't dose down.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody get that way on a joint, But if
No.
edibles is a whole different ballgame.
We
We always
have
recommend
shown, though.
don't do edibles for the first time. Like if
Right.
you're
No,
gonna get
hell
into
no.
marijuana or
Hell no,
or
unless
into
you
it,
do
smoke.
like a half of a
Although-
2.5 gram, maybe.
Take a
Although
gram.
consuming CBD does do a counterintuitive to
CBD
it.
is great.
Yes, and so if you do consume it, I will say, like, say going to a dinner and they, they're dosing to the menu, whatever it is. Take some CBD gummies with you.
Hey, you know
It
what-
will
you know
bring
what?
it down because if you get too fucked up and you feel like you're making a fool of yourself or whatever, it will make things way
CBD
chill.
does a lot for you from a medical standpoint in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Sex. It's better than Viagra.
Yes.
Read the CBD Bible by Dr. Danny Gordon. And I forget what chapter it is. You probably don't remember when we interviewed her, but her chapter was sex and CBD. There was a chapter on sex and CBD in this book called CBD Bible, and it just talked about the effects and, medically what CBD does and how it can enhance.
Yeah.
Instead of using all these other things.
Absolutely.
Just like, and that's something that brings me to one of the things I saw everywhere on your Instagram and Twitter and all the podcast accounts, pot over pills.
Yeah.
I saw that quote, pot over pills. Talk about that for a second.
That's more my end. So I was in the Marine Corps a long time ago, but I was
Thank you for
one
your
of
service.
Thank you. I was one of the however many millions or hundreds of thousands of guys that got hooked on pills in that era. So I came back, back's fucked up, your head, your shoulders, your body's broken. I was infantry, so pretty much carrying a lot of shit, getting shot at, bombs going off, all that good stuff. I am no war hero by any means whatsoever. am a Marine and in the infantry, but my body was broken. So anyway, I was at the point where I was at the VA taking one, then two, then three, then all of a sudden I'm like, shit, this bottle's emptying out pretty quick. VA just writes you scripts like Pez. It's pretty much, in my opinion, from my experience, is they get you in and just get you the fuck out the door. Because they know eventually, if I just get him out of here, he's probably just going to kill himself or burn himself out anyway. And that's the sad truth of it. If anybody's experienced the VA, had a grandfather or grandmother or a father, anybody that's been there, it's what I've experienced has been shit, and that's been the vast majority
I've
of it.
never
She's seen it herself.
experienced. I've never dated anyone or been with anyone that was in the military part too.
Well, it's a whole
and
different
so
world.
dating with cannabis helps.
There you go.
Cannabis helps. No, I mean, and then walking in there, and I'm like, wait a minute, like. Some of these places are garbage, and this is how we treat our veterans.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
and it's insane. I mean,
I
one
can
of
tell
the
a quick story about
Yeah.
the first time she experienced this. I can't remember if I started to get migraines, didn't know what it was. Kind of like when you get high for the first time, you think you're having a heart attack and you're dying. I thought I was having a stroke, couldn't feel my face, having trouble talking and everything. Go to the VA, the ER's booked. I'm going, fuck, here we go. I'm standing there for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, telling these people, like, I seriously think I have a problem. Lady in front of me all of a sudden gets called in before me, and I start losing my shit at this point. I'm going, what's going on? Sir, you need to calm down. You need to sit down. I said, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I said, I'm going to kill myself. Silent as this room is right now was the waiting room. She goes, are you serious? I go, yep, sure as fuck I am. I'm going to kill myself. Saying that, I knew she had to take me in the back. As fucked up as that was. So I went back there, and they pretty much just plugged me with an IV and just fucking let you lay there for 3-4 hours. But it's bad that you have to know the loopholes to how to get attention when you need it.
Yeah,
It's
and then
bad.
they let them go.
It is a sad state of
Very
affairs.
Did they cut you off from the pills before you turned to
No,
cannabis?
I
or-
actually cut myself off because I had an instance where I kind of knew I was creating a habit because I was going to one doctor, then 2 doctors, then 3 doctors, and I
Doctor
realized
shopping.
I got a fucking problem here. And then I started buying them. That's when I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I had an instance where I took new medication from the VA. I was on 8 different medications, blood pressure, this, that, up, down, left, right. And they put me on a new medication. At the time, I was drinking, and they said, hey, can you lay off the drinking? And I'm like, yeah, I don't drink that much, no big deal. Took the normal meds, went out, had a couple shots. I blacked out, ended up in the hospital the next morning. The guy's asking me all these questions, and I stopped him, and I go, did you think I tried to kill myself? He goes, buddy, you were like 1 drink away from like dying. I go, holy shit. I had no clue. The medicine I was on with that, people take to kill themselves. I went home, flushed it, and I was fucking out. That was like the wake-up
When was
call
that?
for me.
What year?
Probably 2012, somewhere in there, 2013. So I was hooked on pills for quite a long time.
So tell us, you have a podcast, right?
Correct.
Tell us about that podcast.
Yeah, so it started in our basement on GarageBand for 2 seconds because it got to a point that with Instagram, we can't really say what we want, and we get shadow banned, and we aren't
We're
able to
disabled
even
right now.
right.
They block us and disable us and everything.
we
It's
understand
It's a hot
it's fucking
mess.
annoying.
So, you know, I immediately knew that we needed to talk about real shit, get to what we can do more with cannabis. In other words, I'm sorry. You know, that's the thing when you smoke and you're anxious and you have all of this happening to you. It's amazing to know that you can smoke and I'm sorry, I'm having anxiety attacks.
It's okay. It's
Purpose is
okay.
cannabis helps.
Do you need some water?
Do you need a
Exact-
joint?
like-
No. Do you need a joint?
No,
Do you
our
smoke?
podcast, though.
Literally. Sorry.
Take
just
some
really-
water, and then, you know what? It's perfect. Let's put the.
We're very, I know.
Well, look,
like-
no. This is a good time, I think, to get into the next segment, which,
sorry.
as I told you guys before, you're welcome to interject.
Okay, but before that, though, tell us where people can watch your podcast.
We're on everything. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. We do have a separate page for the podcast that we just have right now. Nothing's on it, but mainly on Spotify, where a lot of people listen.
And
so
literally pothead parents.
it's pothead
Nice.
parent, just
Parent.
no S on
Parent.
the end of it. So,
Yes.
Gotcha.
but yeah, it's veterans, parents, anybody just looking to learn about cannabis, what to do, what not to do, how to get off the pills and transition to marijuana like I did. And
there cannot be enough of those types of platforms.
no, and as veterans, we're shunned from the information, which is a whole different
Yeah, I mean,
topic,
like
but-
I was telling you earlier, we work with Weed for Warriors, who you might want to look into. I mean, they've got they set up a lot of the donation drops all up and down the
Right.
state.
Awesome.
If you ever see those, it's to get veterans. You know, they get free weed.
Right.
Quite a bit of it too. They get donated.
That's awesome.
And it helps getting that in the hands of people who need it and can't afford it. And it's just it's crazy.
Ass
but,
backwards.
There's
We
good
both come-
stuff out there.
We both come from wanting to help our community in Buffalo, whether it was health and fitness or him with his community with veterans and the Marines and bringing, Toys for Tots with his business. This is what our main goal is with Pothead Parent, to be able to share, the knowledge of cannabis, but also, with the Last Prisoner Project, helping them. We're a part of the Roll It Up for Justice. And so being able to check out, our hat and putting in $5 to the Last Prisoner Project at checkout. I mean, that means the world to so many who are stuck in prison for something that was to put food on the fucking table for their families.
It's going to take more people, like hopefully I would think everybody sitting in this room to vote. And I won't. We need to go on to the next segment after this because I won't go on. But
Or like 5 minutes ago.
I know, but still, this is important. We need to vote out those fucks who don't listen to us.
Right.
Yes.
Those old fucks who should be termed out or aged out. Why do we have 80-year-olds?
age out.
Why do we have 80-year-olds governing us and telling us what's moral, what's not, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and treating our vets like shit? Because we know a lot of vets. We've heard this story. The suicides. It's the statistics are stupid. But with that, we will move on, Mark. Before
Whenever you're ready.
Don't hit me.
Sorry.
I want to get to the part where we get to watch videos of cops doing shit. And this first clip is, and as I mentioned earlier to you guys backstage, or I don't know what it's called back there, I guess it's not backstage, but interject with us and tell us anything you might think. So
Okay.
this first clip illustrates the length the cops will go to try to get you to talk and the things they do. Let's watch this whole thing here.
I'm
really
asking
quick.
you what your travel plans are. I have the right to ask you these questions.
And I have a right to remain silent.
Okay, so you're telling me you're not going to answer the questions. This guy's refusing to speak, and he's got several cameras mounted in the car also. I asked him travel plans. He won't tell me anything. So he's going from the west to the east. Can't smell anything.
Trooper McMillan now inquires about the proximity of the nearest canine unit, while also indicating that he lacked reasonable suspicion to even hold Mr. Beausoleil to run a free air sniff, as he could no longer smell marijuana.
I can't smell anything, so if he doesn't let me, I don't think I can hold him on it. You make me suspicious. By the way, you're not telling me what your travel plans are. Lead me to believe that you're transporting something you shouldn't be transporting. Is that the case? So you don't mind if I look? Okay, then we'll call a K9 here. Probably be 10 minutes before Oh, no, I'm not wasting my time. I'm getting paid to do this. I'm just doing my job.
So we hear this all the time. People getting pulled over and I'm going to get, especially here in California where smell isn't probable cause, they do this. Hey, I'm going to make you wait for 10 minutes, half hour, hoping that you're going to crack and start talking and say something.
Or allowing the search.
Anything.
That's what they're trying to do is get you to allow the search. Just, you never consent to a search. Period. End of story.
Well, and you hear the cops talking, trying to figure out, and we dealt with this firsthand once before on a case, where they're trying to figure out, how are we going to get in there legally? How are we going to do this legally? And that's the conversation some of these cops have when they got a hard on and they want to get in that car. And the guy was doing nothing wrong. It smelled like cannabis. And so what? And that actual video, it was by a Lackluster. If you go to YouTube and follow Lackluster, he has all these videos about cops, and this case is going to, he was sued. The county was sued because the guy violated his rights. So let's start the next clip. And this whole series is a good one.
Did you smoke some weed recently? When did you smoke?
About 40, 50 minutes back.
About an hour ago? Okay, not a big deal. Look, hold on just a second.
Okay, so I just want to point out really quick, the cop says, no big deal, after he admitted to smoking an hour ago, this morning, whatever it was. He admitted it. The cop said, oh, no big deal. Okay, let's continue.
So look, on the scale, you fix your shirt, fix your pants too now. Come on, we can't looking scrappy out here. We don't know who might drive by and see you. All right, look, on a scale of 0 to 10, with a 0 being you've never smoked marijuana before, and a 10 being the highest you've ever been from smoking marijuana, where would you say you fall at on that scale right now?
So he goes on to say like 2 or something, but we've actually dealt with cases where cops, they do this. You know, this is on the side of, I
He's
think
being
it's
super
in
nice,
South
too.
Carolina.
The cop's being cool.
So he makes
Well, right,
his
he was
own-
right.
Makes
That's
it all up.
Wanted you to
They can
point
make
that
that
out.
whatever they want. And he's being super cool.
Telling him to fix his pants and all that stuff. Let's continue and see what happens.
0 to 10. Yes, sir. 0 being you've never smoked marijuana before, 10 being the highest you've ever been. Right, just trying to see where you fall out on there. Just make sure you're okay to drive.
Oh, yeah.
Just make sure the number ain't real high.
Oh, no, hey, it might be a 1 or 2, babe.
A 1 or 2?
Yeah, I ain't ever out like this.
All right, no big deal. Here, come on, sit back here. And there ain't no weed in your truck? Okay, I'm going to check real quick, but hey, look,
This is all shutting the fuck up. You know, you just shut the fuck up and all those things he said. Go, what were you going to say? You want to continue? Continue.
ahead,
Go.
continue.
Let's keep going. Next portion of
don't
this.
stop. That's okay. Y'all keep going. Your brother's fine. Stay in the vehicle. You do have to keep going. Yes, you do, sir. Y'all go ahead and go.
So that's the guy's brother who happened to be driving by and pulled over to say, what's going on? And he's almost pulling out his gun. You can go watch this whole clip later, but it was just another ridiculous thing. He's not going to let his brother stop. Let's keep going.
So today you're going to be coming with me for your traffic violations for driving while license suspended and driving under the influence of an illegal narcotic.
I'm on the influence of
That you smoke because you smoke marijuana, so you can't smoke marijuana and drive.
I ain't smoke marijuana. I don't know.
You can't smoke it and
You
drive.
smoke marijuana, man.
There'd be less road rage
Very
if
true.
everybody smoked and drove.
Very true.
So
Because that's the great thing about weed is if you smoke too much, you're not going to fucking drive.
Yeah, you're too tired.
You're not going to drive.
Sit and eat.
If you're drunk, you're going to think you can still drive
You're gonna
and
grab
kill
the keys.
somebody. But if you're too high, because that does occur when you can get pretty baked, you're not going to pick up those keys and go.
But here's the point of this whole thing. That cop, he was Mr. fucking nice guy for the long, you know, in the beginning, fix your clothes and do all this. And he got that guy to say everything he needed to say. Oh yeah, I just smoked it. And it was okay in the beginning, and he ends up taking him in for smoking and driving. What was all that for? Go watch the rest of this video. It's a whole show. That's why we're not looking at it. But they end up getting into a fight and all this other stuff. And I think it's another
because you never know, because you heard him.
But let me finish. If you say those 25 words and shut the fuck up, he would have got a fucking ticket for speeding.
Most likely.
But absolutely, most likely.
It's like, did you have him? How many drinks have you had? You think if you say one, that's going to be okay? If you say none and you did, then you're lying.
Never lie.
You don't want to get caught lying.
Never lie.
That's why you don't discuss your fucking day. I'm not discussing my day. That's why it's part of the script. I'm not discussing my day. That's your polite answer to any fucking question. Period.
All right, let's get to the next segment. I think that's a good segue. Weed the People. This is where we bring you information that might affect you across the land. And this is brought to you by Rocket Seeds. They are one of our sponsors. And I have some seeds up here and a whole booklet about strains and things I don't understand. Well, one thing I do understand about these cannabis seeds, and all cannabis seeds, they don't have THC, right?
That's correct.
There's no THC in these seeds.
I had to do an opinion letter, and I'm like, when I found that out, because someone came in and said, I want an opinion letter, doesn't have THC. And I said, I don't grow, I'm not an agriculturist,
Right.
But I started doing the research, and sure enough, it does not have THC in the raw seed.
We don't know everything. That's the thing. Like when we are on these platforms, like you constantly say, we are not doctors. We don't know everything.
Right. Look at it. Hey,
you have to say
you know
it.
what we tell people? It's like the field sobriety tests. They're voluntary here in the state of California. Google your state. It's
Right.
that easy. In most
Google
other
it.
states, it's voluntary. We can't mention any other states because we don't practice in those states, but you can Google anything.
Right.
So in the last two segments, we discussed possession and use, which vary greatly across this nation. If you are traveling, you want to know that information, we suggest you check it out there at our first two episodes. But flying with cannabis, taking cannabis on a plane anywhere in the United States of America is illegal. It's completely illegal. You are at risk for either a state and or federal felony or misdemeanor, and you can be prosecuted for both if you're that unlucky. And while we're covering the flying aspect, shipping cannabis through the mail, UPS, FedEx, private courier, it's all illegal. If you have a state in a license, you might be able to do something that's very regulated. And what's up with the regulated market in California?
Sucks.
I know that. Tell us. Can you tell us why is the licensing?
I mean, what's interesting though is
Licensing.
the state just passed I can't think of the assembly bill number. Newsom just signed like 10 new bills in California.
Talking about the one for employment?
Well, the one for employment's good. That as of January, there's going to be no pre-employment THC testing. Which is something that's good because they're admitting, and this is going to go to DUI cases too. It's going to be interesting, the defense we have, because they're admitting, one of the reasons for the bill is they're admitting that the THC left over in your system, what's it called?
Non-psychoactive.
It's non-psychoactive that they test 10 days later.
Carboxy THC, it's called.
There you go. And that doesn't have anything to do with impairment. And so they can't test for that pre-employment. There's a couple exceptions.
What's the other bill you were talking about?
No, I was talking about the state compacts where Newsom signed a bill that as soon as it's federally legal, along with other states, they can do business interstate with other states. So they're just getting ready to pounce and to allow our market to go out of state as soon as it's federally legal, which who God knows when that'll be. If everybody gets out there and votes in the new generation, I think we can get it done.
Everyone needs to get out.
I think the licensing in California can be done very easy. I think they should let all the black marketeers come on in and teach us how to do it. They're making billions of dollars on the black market.
The problem is this. This is the problem. They've made it so complicated in an industry where, for the most part, I've been in this industry for 35 years, so that tells you I've come from the dirt up. And
you've smoked the dirt up.
And I'm telling
True.
you, there was an industry, a huge, and it's still going on right now, bigger than the legal industry, that's got no regulations. And shit, for the most part, isn't burning down. Things aren't going to shit. I mean, we don't need these they need architects and things that, we could set up a grow in 10 minutes. And in the old days, now it takes a year and a half to get the permits and to get the city and the state license and the shit you have to, and the money you have to spend. And
It's all about the money.
It's ridiculous. And the cities are being stupid and allowing only so many. It's like, allow as many as want, I mean, it proves that property values go up. That's been proven with legal dispensaries and businesses in the areas.
There's liquor stores on every corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hypocritical, and hopefully hopefully I will see the change in my time.
Amen.
Okay, I won't. All right, I want to thank our guests, the Pothead parents, for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for
From
having us.
Las
Thank you.
Vegas and making
Thank you,
that
guys.
drive. Thank you very much. Can you please, one more time, give us where everybody can find you?
Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. I think I hit them all.
We're trying to get it all.
It'll be easy to find the Pothead parents. Just Google them. And we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to do something called the Script Challenge. Does anyone know what the Script Challenge is? Nobody? Oh, man.
Yeah, we do.
Does any? Okay,
He
you
does.
do. Okay, well, here. Then let's
Right?
do before we take that minute, let's do the Script Challenge.
Let's go.
And
I actually did it on our last podcast. I don't know if you listened to
Yes,
it.
he
Do
did.
it, though.
Okay. I'm going to treat you like any other contestant.
All right, let's do this.
Let's go.
And then, okay, so we're the cops. We pull you over, and I say, hey, what are you doing in my neighborhood?
Why'd you pull me over?
Your blinker's out. Why's your blinker out?
I'm not discussing.
You got a broken blinker. Are you going to fix your broken blinker? That could get somebody hurt.
I'm not discussing my day.
Why does it smell here? Do you have cannabis?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
You are being detained. Now, do you have cannabis in the... If you have just cannabis, I'll let you go, even if it's a
I
little.
invoke the fifth. And then you shut the fuck up.
It's
Yeah, bingo.
Where,
There are
He
some
got-
prizes there.
I know Amanda has the prizes.
That was not pre-planned, by
and
the
I
way.
think we have two. I think we have two of each, whatever there's out there, for our guests here. I'm assuming you know it too.
Yeah, she knew it.
Yeah,
she knew
I
it.
definitely do,
Okay.
verbatim.
Then we're gonna give that to you. We're gonna take a few minutes, and
Perfect.
we do this
Or should
every
we just-
Friday on our Instagram at noon Pacific time, the Script Challenge, and we bring people from all over the world and quite.
Hey, I think we should just go into it now.
Yeah, but they got to come up. We got to get people up there.
I think we can do it get him a mic.
Someone's got to do it.
Oh, I don't. Okay.
Can
However
we
you
get
wanna do
somebody?
it.
Can we get a mic to somebody out there who wants to do it?
Thank you, Amanda. Who said
Perfect.
that? Mara. Thank you, Mara.
Love the live.
Thank you, Mara.
Love the live. Come on, you
Just
can
step up, pretend
you
you're
can read it
driving
from the
a
back.
vehicle,
Yeah, you
and
can
we're
read
the
it
cop.
from the back of the
Take
card.
that card with you. And actually, you see that card laying around everywhere. Thanks for bringing that
On
up.
the back of that card
It
is
go-
the last 25 words you'll ever say to the police. That goes in your wallet behind your ID, not in anywhere else, not in your purse, in the wallet behind your ID, so you will never get fucked.
Because tomorrow, in a week, in a month, in a year, in 10 years, whenever you get pulled over, and you will at some point, you'll just remember the crazy guys up here going, shut the fuck up, and you'll remember those 25 words.
Because they'll be behind your ID, you have to pull out.
And you'll have done the daily script review, which we're going to do right now with we got prizes. We do have prizes.
There we
please,
go.
Please step on up.
You can use the card too.
And these 25 words are suggest. Thank you,
Thank you.
Keith. Thank you. Okay. We're the cop. You get pulled over, and I say, what's that smell in your car? Look at read it. Read the first line.
Why did you pull me over?
Because you're speeding. Now, do you have cannabis in here?
I'm not discussing my day.
I don't care about your day. I want to know why it smells like drugs. Are you a druggie?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
You're being detained. Now tell me where the drugs are.
I invoke the fifth.
And then what are you going to do?
Shut the fuck up.
Winner! It's so easy. I don't know how
that card. It'll be that. Believe me, when that cop comes up to the window, it's not easy to do it. It is not easy to do it.
Start crying.
I have had. Yeah, that doesn't always work, but it does.
Careful.
I got to admit, I've heard it does, but not always. Unless you get the lady cop that she don't care. But,
Does anybody else want to try?
It's not easy, so you got to know it and you got to trust it.
All right, we're gonna, huh? Yep. So with that, we're gonna end with what? We would stand up.
Got one more guy.
Got to stand up for this.
All of us?
We're gonna do the daily script review, and I suggest you do it every day, once or twice a day, and just say these 25 words in your head so it becomes muscle memory. So you can do this one day. Why did you pull me over? I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained? Am I free to go? I invoked the fifth, and you shut the fuck up, right? And then if you look at our Instagram every Friday, me and my brother do this, and this is gonna cause for participation. I think you'll figure out what we need you to say. You already know. All right, so big brother, when the cop first comes up to your window and starts questioning you, what do you say?
Why'd you pull me over?
And when he starts badgering you and trying to scare you and intimidate you, yelling and ask more questions, what do you say?
Not discussing my day.
And he says more questions, what do you say?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
And then when he asks you even more and pulls his gun and starts to ask more questions.
I invoked the fifth.
And then everybody here at Pop Brothers at Live Cannabis Capitol, what do you do?
Shut the fuck up.
That is it.
There we go. Thank you very much for coming out tonight, and get the fuck out.